and they talk like if you know what I mean, like God damn, homie, shit.
Like if you were there, like you know the facts for
Like
fact.
what the fuck? Like, don't get me wrong, bro. Just because he done said some things on other cases, que fools were farting and doing the thing at the same time. I mean, goddamn, bro, you can't. I don't know, way. Some people are just cats. I'll just say that, bro. They're just cats, and they honestly gotta look through their own shit. You know what I'm saying? Before
That's
they
the
even.
thing. Some people are even afraid to. Some YouTubers are even afraid to come out and tell stories about when they were using dope because they feel like they were so grimy, trying to get high or do stuff like that. They would do grimy shit. Imagine just how dirty that feels. Trying to get the next hit if you going out of pocket to do something or manipulating your family to do. Imagine how you feel about just doing that. Imagine how everybody else feel you put in a jacket on like, oh, all of you guys are this because this individual did this. You can't painting everybody with the same brush stroke, bro. You just can't. It don't make no sense because just like the president when Trump went against OMX, he described him as everybody. He described
They did it
Salvador.
to the Mexicans too,
He
bro.
did it to Mexicans. He said, "Oh, all they're sending us are a bunch of rapists and killers and
The
individuals."
worst,
The
la
worst.
basura, la
Yeah, he
basura.
said la basura, and that's not true because I know of a lot of people that cross the border. They go to work hard and bust their asses for their family to make sure their family have food on the table, to make sure they have something to live forward to look
And to
forward
send
to.
some to Mexico, just to make sure that their parents or whoever they left over there that they're also straight too.
Yeah,
I'm about to say, carnal, I was like, I had coworkers because I don't work with them no more, but I had coworkers que tenían two jobs. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Just two jobs because he's like, you know what? I got to pay my bills here, and I got to pay my family's bills over there.
over
So
there.
I need two jobs. I don't need no rest. I just need 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and that's it. I was like, damn.
That's it. It's
I'm
like when they start doing that over here. I don't know if you saw the news. Start attacking Hondurans when the
Mhm.
fentanyl crisis hit the Tenderloin, the
Yeah.
downtown area of Frisco. They start hitting all Hondurans because that's what they were catching. People were saying that they were Hondurans, but there was actually some fact that they will find their passport that were not Honduran, they were from other country. But who got the blame were Hondurans. Hondos were a bunch of amphetamine killers. Hondos were this, Hondos were that. Everybody criticized Honduras. They wanted to hang him. But actually, look at the facts. This country, bro, had got more serial killers out of everybody else than Latinos. All these people shooting up in school, killing innocent kids, and all this diabolic stuff that we see, they're non-Latinos.
They're all white boys. No
They're all
disrespect to
white dudes.
the
And
whites, eh? Sprinkle them in, como dice aquel güey.
yeah, and then
But
they
it's
come and
not.
say, oh, just because they suffer mentally and they had the research to get help because they're born here. They have the research to go to the hospital. They have things that we don't have. We don't have the research to go to get insurance or something proper for a lot of the kids that suffer those things.
Yeah.
They do, but they still come out and do half of the stuff, killing kids in elementary school. But
See,
we don't talk about that. We don't minimize the white race because of somebody else killing. We don't put that big old cardboard to say, "Oh, white people are criminals."
mm-hmm. Lo que ellos hacen instead, they. I don't know. There's gonna be some white people in here like, bitch, fuck you guys. You know, hey, I said mine regardless, and we're just keeping it real, right? But lo que ellos
Yeah,
hacen, they end up looking for the next blame, homie. So like,
yeah,
okay, this dude did this, right? But what I think he was on drugs, and I think it was the Mexicans that sold it, or it was the brothers that sold it, or it was
yeah.
someone else. Someone else was in the mix, and that was the reason why it happened. You know, they always gotta pinpoint something else. And I know I might have people in the comments like, "Pichi Conejo, you probably smoke too much yeshka," you know.
Nah, but
But
it's
it's
true
true.
though. We see this happening constantly. That when the news and the paper come in here and paint us a picture about somebody's race, and we attacked. What happened with the coronavirus? They start calling it the China virus.
Los chinos,
What happened? Chinese people start getting attacked in the streets. Older people were getting beat up. They were getting robbed. People were getting set on fire because they thought they have some type of knowledge of the virus, or
yeah,
because they
or they
call it
came
that.
from, yeah. Or you know that, yeah, you know, or they fucking they travel to visit someone.
Yeah,
It's yeah, I trust me, bro. In this area in Watsonville, there's a few chinos, but in Santa Cruz there's a little bit more, and you would see those signs, bro. Stop Asian hate, and I was like, what the fuck? That's really a thing? Because to me,
yeah.
like, I never really thought it got like that, but now I noticed that it did. But I was like,
Yeah.
fuck. I was like, these fools are crazy, eh? I was like, these fools are crazy.
There we had a perfect example. What happened with the when the 9/11 when the towers came down? All Muslims
Todos.
were terrorists. All Arabs they had the coffee
Sí.
were terrorists, and then everybody they had the face covered, the women they covered their face, they had bombs hitting over them. They were getting humiliated, their belief being destroyed and
Yeah.
attacked because they were getting stripped on the airport just because they felt like they had to do that. We
Yeah.
as society have a job to not criticize everybody just because a newspaper or article person comes and say they're all guilty, let's all hate them. We
Nah.
got to be able to distinguish which is a fact and which is just a hate propaganda for stuff like that.
Yeah. Nah.
Just like right now, I could say CDC is corrupt because of everything that's happened. All these hits that their CDC, some of the officers are allowed to happen with the knowledge. Some of their killings have happened with their knowledge of lieutenants and sergeants and wardens, knowing that it will happen. Joey Pinell happening, the individual Aguilar that just got killed. We have proof that these dudes did 2 runs, dry
Yeah.
run, test run to retrieve the knife. I read the articles and I was gonna do the reaction video to that, and I'm still gonna do it. But we had to prove that these individuals knew, and that some officer paid them dope to actually kill this individual. And then what happened? The sergeant that was leading the investigation killed herself. We can easily say CDC got him killed, but then
Yeah.
we would just throw and blame to everybody. And not all CDC officers are assholes. There's some actually dudes that go in there just to get paid, work
Yeah.
out, and help as much as they can.
Yeah. Straight up. Those are facts too. Eh? A lot of people think that shit. Que like all prisoners. Okay, they hate the COs. You know. No, there's some COs, man, that you become cool with in there, man. That doesn't mean you're over there fucking having daily conversations. You just recognize that they're in there to do their job. They're not gonna do the most by trying to fucking hit you every single time, search you every single time. I mean, you're already
Yeah,
locked up. There's nothing they can do to you, right? But they can
yeah,
fuck up your program and just make it a little bit worse. And the ones that don't do that shit, those are the cool ones. They're like, hey, that fool just comes and clocks in. He just comes, clocks
yeah,
in. Don't fuck with this program. He won't fuck with you. It's firme, you know? And those are the
yeah,
cool ones. I mean, like I said, man, you don't got to be a super CO, super CO and shit.
yeah. That's the
But
thing. We got to learn how to start distinguish fact from fiction and
yeah,
propaganda from reality, bro. Because like I said before on my last videos, not all Salvadorian people are killers. They're not all rapers. They're not all a bunch of criminals. I know a bunch of people that know Salvadorians that can tell you that this Salvadorian person will wake up the first time, go to work, and if he have to, he will give you the shirt on his back to make sure you have something, and he won't care about himself. That's how
yeah,
loving and kind people are. Yeah, but if you push that issue, push that button, course, everybody is a man and they can be angry and things can escalate
facts.
to a
Yeah,
level they can be taken.
see, man, those are facts right there too, G. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's
it just
it's gonna be hard though. I'm gonna be quite honest, carnal. It's gonna be hard, bro, until people
yeah,
actually get that fucking that message, you know, because there's always gonna be people pushing a certain thing, carnal. There's always gonna be those fucking I don't even know what to call them at times, carnal. You know, I see certain things, I'm just like, stay away. What is this fool on, you know? But I'm glad that, like I said earlier, bro, that you're on here on YouTube, and people just gotta ask, homie. You know, I don't know how you do your whole little thing on the videos, or if you take requests from people. But people, I mean, all they gotta do, man, is get at you, especially when it comes to this subject about the MS. And I want to have you on my platform, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know how when we're gonna be able to do it, but I want to have you up there so we, you know what I mean? Because I got a following right here in my area, bro. Okay, I don't know if they're tuned into you, but they ask a couple of things about MS all the time. So
they
yeah,
can we can arrange something to be on your platform for. I would love to answer questions. Me personally, when I go live, I tell them shoot all your questions you have regarding MS. Shoot them out. If you can get the answer on my videos when I do the videos, because there's sometimes they send me clips or articles and they're like, can you do a video? I do my homework, or if it's just a knowledge, like the people keep asking me, was the update with a mess and the beef and the feds? Was the update? What's going on over there? Are there program or the beef? And they're gonna break off. people kept hitting me with left and right with those questions. So I decided to take my time and construct the video with the information that I got firsthand and from the people that's in there,
Yeah.
and give you guys the best answer that I could. When I'm live, I do the same. I try to answer as much questions as I can. If you wanna, if I can didn't get enough time to answer your question, hit me up through my
So,
IG. You can send hit me up through my IG. You can hit me up through my comments. Let me know if you wanna look, you want me to look into something. I will respond back. If you want me to give you an answer to you specifically, I will do that. If not, I can make a whole video regarding the situation. But my whole point is, I'm not here trying to glorify a mess. I get that we have some individuals that are really sick in the head. We get that part. We get that part that we have some individuals that sometimes they go loose in the fucking head. And I'm not making up excuse for them, but we also got to look up the factors that play into them having those loose screws. The suffering that they coming from the country, everything they suffer over there, to sometimes living on garbage and coming over here and having this freedom of this beautiful country. Bro, if you guys seen, there's homeboys over there that enjoy the gang because they literally have nothing, nobody to support them. They're living on the streets, and they found a family and they take care of them, and that's how everything is, you know? So, like I said, it's not something that just played off. It's not something that just this what it is. We gotta look into the factors of how much damage that person has suffered, and when they get here they go crazy with freedom or with everything they see,
it's
that
in,
they don't know how to manage it.
you know. Yeah,
And
they always people always got to take that shit into consideration, bro. You know what I mean? They always got to do that because if we would go just off fucking no way, imagínate. I don't think there would be no humans left, bro.
yeah,
Everybody would be whacked out, you know. Get rid
that's
of
the
them.
thing. It's just like a fact. Like, if we gotta look at the people that fought on the wars, on the Iraq wars, on the sand wars, on the desert storm wars, all these wars that happened in the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s when we went to Afghanistan. Those soldiers saw things over there that they're not being dealt with, and they get sick. A lot of people take their life. They commit suicide, or they commit random acts of violence that they don't know. Look at this football player. Sometimes they get a concussion and suffer brains, and they kill themselves because that concussion took over and affected their brain so bad that they didn't know what they were doing. It's like that. It's traumatized shit that happens to them that
Yeah,
in the long run affects them to catch up with them, and it becomes a dangerous thing to deal with.
yeah,
It's just like the war that happened in the 90s in El Salvador. If you sit down and talk to a guerrilla warfare member and ask him how much they suffer and how it was, I believe me, bro, they would tell you that it was hell having to go through those mountains, sleeping, hanging on trees, because you never know when the government will commit raids. Then having to get bombs dropped right next to each other, then having to carry pieces of their comrades' arms, head, because the government had chopped them up or threw a bomb and exploded and took apart 4 or 5 people's children's being decapitated because of the gruesome punishment that the government did, the bombs that were dropping on them, the beatings that these kids were taking because they were part of the guerrilla warfare. They were bitter with the AKs and then just leave them bloody plumb. Those are things that we saw as kids on these guerrilla warfare, but we're not talking about that suffering. So we just judging them, saying, "Oh, this happened, this happened."
yeah, yeah. And I get it. See, man, eh? It's a fucking it's just chingadera, huh? It's a trip, bro. Like, I mean, I gotta say that, like, I don't know about you, but I'm lucky, you know, that we were actually I was born here, you know, and I didn't really have to deal with some of those struggles, bro. You know, because fuck, I mean, if you're from not from here and just go visit your where your family's from, you're gonna see the struggle is real, right?
Yeah,
You, that could be. I mean, there's nice places to every spot, but not like over here. Aquí, the majority, most of the time, they all kind of look the same unless you live in a rich ass house. Then it's a little bit different, right? You're gonna have the extra stuff. But when it comes to like the necessity things inside the house, mostly everything's inside. You know, you have the bathroom, kitchen. You go to other spots, shit. Sometimes the kitchen's outside. Son puras pinches piedras, un pedazo,
Yeah,
and it's just it's a struggle, homie.
yeah,
So I'm glad and I'm thankful that I was born here, right? But at the same time, we got to remember, man, there's other people that were born in other spots that it's not like this. It's not
yeah.
nice like this. They don't have some of the things that we have. Some of the help that the government gives, right? Like if you don't have it over there, you gotta struggle, you gotta fight, and you gotta survive, homie. So sometimes it does mess up people's minds, and I mean, fuck. All I could say, man. I know some people are like, man, well, some of them fools forget them. Yeah, I agree with you. Some of them fools forget them, but some other ones you gotta pray for them, bro. And actually
Yeah,
keep.
I mean, look, I came here when I was young. I went through the earthquakes that happened in El Salvador that literally buried towns
Mm,
because there were the towns where they got home that were made like on a cliff basically. So
yeah,
the towns were underneath and then the cliff was on top and there was nothing but sand. So when the earthquake hit, that whole sand, that whole hole caved in on top of those people. Thousands of kids died, thousands of people died. I went through those earthquakes where I was sleeping and I woke up with the whole house shaking on me and seeing things fall and not knowing what to do because my mom used to live was locked up, locked with kids because we were always bad as little kids. We were always going out and playing soccer when we should be at home. So she used to lock the kid because she had to work two jobs because my dad was over here doing his thing in the United States. The help that he would sometimes give was not enough for four boys. So imagine living through two earthquakes, bro, having to wake up to your whole house feeling like it's coming down and you're that traumatized. The hurricane we went suffering that happened, the Hurricane Mitch, all through those little things that we went through. People haven't taken that into account. And we
yeah,
came here and we went suffering through crossing the border. And sometimes we get rough at the border too. Some people want to just bring you down of the. I didn't go through it, so I'm not gonna front and say I went through it when I took the train and people were throwing rocks. I mean, nah, but I went through the racism that happened when we were coming on buses. People would look at you and they will instantly know that you were from another
yeah,
country that will start treating you really bad, bro. And then when you get here, the worst part is it's not a language you speak. You had to learn it, and then you have to fight for everything. You have to fight for your healthcare. You have to fight for your education. You have to fight for everything. You have to have this. You have to have that. And
yeah.
the government can only help you so much because you're a legal immigrant on a country that was built by illegal people.
It's a trip, huh? Hey, it's a trip, carnal.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's something that I was just tripping on YouTube. Man, I can't remember what it was called, but they were talking about the whole liberty, right? Like okay, everybody came. It was supposed to be a spot that they allowed people, right? That they welcome people to come in and live free, right? The free life. Where'd that shit go? I was like,
Where the freelance go? Yeah.
where that shit go? Because like, don't get me wrong, man. I know there's gonna be people in the comments because there's two groups. There's always the group that kind of like will kind of agree with what you're saying, and there's just a group that like, nah, chalice, homie. If we allow shit like that, then this is gonna get overpopulated. It can get messed up. But let's be real, man. If they had those gates open, I honestly don't think that many fools would come over. To be
Nah.
real, because if they didn't have the need, because look, if the gates were open, more than likely everything would be almost the same. There wouldn't be like that much of a separation. Like, oh, okay, los de acá de Mexico son pesos. If there was no gates, more than likely it would be dollars too, because I mean they wouldn't have to pay for some of the people that can cross just to ship some things over, because everything costs money, bro.
Yeah.
Like los pinches troqueros from Mexico, because they used to go to my work, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
fools they pay for their little papers, whatever, right? So they can be crossing the visa. All that shit costs money, bro.
Yeah.
It's todo un puto negocio. But if they didn't have that, imagine all that money that they pay just to be able to do business. Hey, that's all profit.
It's a firm example what I just said on my last video. Now that the president of El Salvador is saying that there's gonna be companies for the United States going over there and establishing over there. Imagine the money these people, these companies are gonna make, the revenue they're gonna make because if you have an engineer here in the United States, a well-educated engineer, you pay him $150 an hour to do an engineer, and you take your company to El Salvador, the same person had the same set of skills, the same education. He's an engineer as well. He just have the language barrier, but he can build you things. He can communicate, showing you by building you the same thing that no other engineer, a white engineer, can do. You're not gonna pay the Salvadoran engineer $150 an hour. Nah, you're gonna cut that by
30.
half or 30%.
Yeah, like those 30s, $40, 60, he'll
40
be
bucks, 50 bucks, and he's gonna be like, oh, he's getting money, he's getting paid because that amount of money had never been seen before. So of course they're gonna make a profit. And who's gonna get benefit? The people that's in places. He said that Salvador was gonna become a better place. He was gonna start creating more avenues for everything. Okay, well, all these fine structures, they're monuments of El Salvador, where these structures that are failing, why not replace them? Where's all this money that you took away from the corrupt politics, that you took away from all this stuff? Where's all this money at? You investing in the Bitcoin because you got profit in that, because you have shares that you bought before you became president into this Bitcoin. So you wanted to install Bitcoin as the money official for El Salvador. You want to take away the dollar and introduce Bitcoin to be the dollar official for El Salvador, because it will benefit his pocket.
straight up.
So you tell me. So it's yeah, he does what he did, what he was supposed to do. The gangs over there now, Salvadoran can be a tourist city. A lot of people, they haven't visited motherland, they were afraid to go, now can go and visit. It's beautiful. I've seen it. I wish I could go, but I can't. But then we look at the deeper facts. There's streets, there are highways that need fixing that he haven't done fixed. There's structure monuments they
There's things
have in
that he
Salvador. They're coming falling away. Their culture pieces, they're falling, and he won't take care of them because he doesn't care.
he's focused on ahorita. Look, these you well, I know this is gonna be off another topic, right? We're going off another topic right now, but what he's doing is just trying to cover like con las gangas with all the gang stuff. He's covering up all this other stuff that he should actually be paying attention to at the same time. Like, let's be real, man. Some of the history, once it breaks, ya valió madre. So
Yeah,
if it's able to get fixed or make sure that the future can see it, like the next generations to come, like,
yeah,
sabes que this is history right here.
yeah. It's historic moments, historic
Yeah,
statues.
yeah. There's stuff that he should be doing, bro. But you know how that political game works, carnal. They throw something and they find something, they stick with that. Especially las gangas, it's always been a thing, bro. People have always been scared of gangs, and like I said, man, it's not that we're like, I know you're not over here promoting or any like the gang thing, man. Me neither, right? We're not doing none of that, but at the same time, it's not all negative, homie. It's not all negative. I mean, I could tell you good things that came out of me being part of like the hood or whatever you guys want to say. There was good things that came out of shit. I needed
Yeah,
help at that time, I needed a family. Hey, they're the ones that I used something that I comfort. So there's goods
yeah.
and bads. There's goods and bads to everything, homie. But when it comes to the political shit, it's all money, carnal. It's all money at the end
That's
of
all
the day.
there is to it.
Yeah, it's all fucking
And
fake.
it's sad, man, but it's true. Like I said, I mean, I know for a fact, I always knew that MS was a hated game. And even though it was international, and people hated more when it started spending to different countries, and when it started becoming an international game with money, with access to financial money to be able to do the moves that they did. That's when people took a look and dive into it, and they start hating them more, because they wanted the MS to stay what on their eyes was a bunch of poor people becoming again to protect their own. They wanted it to stay that way. They
Yeah,
wanted the poor to stay poor and these people not get smarter. But eventually the homeboys got smarter. They created a structure that was financially and monetary gain for them, and becoming transnational gain to work with different organizations that they have worked with. They have
mm,
made it possible for a lot of people incarcerated to get financial gain out of it. Yeah,
Tim,
there's bad and good on all of it. I'm not saying that there's always bad and all good on it. Nah, there's always friction within between
yeah,
amongst the organization. There's always non-agreements with the stuff, and then people always gonna have something to say about it. But we also have to take a step back, and if we don't know the facts, at least look into it. Though, just don't go based on where there's a page that say that everybody in here is guilty, so we're just gonna call them all guilty of this.
Yeah. That look, bro. I think I'm like one of the only ones that made a video about it. I could be wrong, bro. I could be wrong. But cuando todo eso estaba pasando with like the president snatching up all the MS and all that, or just gangs, I'll just say gangs in general, right? When he was snatching up all of them, a lot of people were kind of making videos and they were kind of happy about that shit, right? Me personally, I get it, bro. Like I said, there's basura in every group, right? There's garbage in every group. They should have snatched up the ones that were committing crimes, homie. I honestly don't think that they should have snatched up everybody, bro. Because there were some people that I guarantee you they weren't even in the mix no more. They were just doing their thing, but just having any little ink, se los chingaron. You get me? That they went in, and I guarantee you some of them are probably even going through drama while they're in there because they weren't even affiliated no more. They weren't even
And,
on the
and
roster, on the mix, and they're fucking
that
out.
and that's the worst problem, because that happened to some of my family members, and I said it. I agree with him if you were still, because the pen that said the police department has to have an active roster where active gang members are at, because they always are running up into the communities asking questions. They're always putting people with their hands up and searching them and stuff like that. They're always doing that 24/7. So they had a roster with active people. Plus, they had dialogues with the MS leaders, so they knew who was within the mix and who was not. You should have took, if they were still pushing, they were still active. They knew the consequence of that. Like I always say, if we were pushing and we were active, I knew that I was gonna get locked up sooner or later. So if that were to have happened, I wouldn't have complained. But the thing with him was he took people that wasn't active for years. He
Yeah,
took people that had become Christian and had left the life. He got them back up and then locked them up again. He took family members of gang members and locked them up just because they wouldn't give him the information on where they were hiding. Some of them didn't even know where they were hiding. One of my cousins, his dad didn't know where he was hiding. He was well off in the mountains when that shit happened. They took his dad, his mom, and locked him up for 2 weeks until he reappear or he turned himself in. Then we'll let them go. That was the message that was given. They were locking people up that didn't have anything to do with gangs, bro.
that's the part I didn't agree with, bro. When I started seeing that shit, I was like, man, valió madre, because people started removing tattoos to the extent to burning them off. If you see, look, bro, I'm gonna be quite honest. If I'm part of a like pushing hard or whatever, and if I see a member show up where a tattoo was at burnt off, there's issues right there. You get me?
Automatically.
So it's like, what the fuck? Like, but that to me, okay, because the way he's doing too much. But I mean, I can say what I like how I feel, which I did. I made a video about it, but I mean, it's just me. You get me? At the end of the day, there's still a hella people that were just happy about it. They were like, you know what? They clean up the calles. You can go over there. You can. I mean, but let's be real, man. What about all those innocent ones that were doing good, that weren't in the mix?
Yeah, and then
But
on top of that, the stuff that I agree with him was he took the police force and went to the cemetery and got the tombstones for homeboys that have already dead and broke their tombstone taken down because he wanna erase any trace of the game. You can't erase any trace of the game because that memory and the trauma that people suffer are still gonna be there in their mind. You will never be able to delete it. What you gonna do? Come and take somebody and give them a shot so the brain can delete everything? It just don't work like that.
yeah, that shit that shit was too much. Yeah, that shit
Yeah,
was
it
way
was
too much.
just too much.
Yeah, I was like, that shit was way too much. But yeah, bro. Te iba a decir, brother. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow, bro. I mean, I gotta have you on the platform. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Sir,
if we could do it tomorrow, my boy. I mean, let me know. We'll run that. And thank you. You know what I'm saying? I know we can continue talking about this subject, carnal, but I think we should wait a little bit for the comments, bro, because I guarantee you, bro, there's gonna be people in the comments that got something to say. And on the next one, hey, I would like to go through those comments, brother. I don't know
Yeah,
if you're down with
I mean,
it. You
I'm
know.
down for it. Just let me know when you want to do it. Like I said, right now I'm not working, unfortunately, because of my surgery. It still doesn't
All
allow me to do anything. So most of the time after 10, I'm already free with my stuff. I'm already doing everything that I needed to do. And
right.
I already got all my medication order after 10, my insulin shot and everything. So after 10, I'm free. You can
All
hit
right.
me up and we can get it going. And I appreciate
Simón.
you taking the time to
Yeah.
do this with me and basically open up a conversation for people to understand my gente, my people, and understand Salvadorian as a whole, as a country, as people, and not just as gang members and not just as pieces
Yeah.
of shit, how people want to describe us.
Exactly. Exactly, bro. Well, hey, como estás diciendo, gente, you heard it right here. I don't know when this will actually play out, but whenever it plays out, the next day, because I am trying to have that tomorrow, my boy. I'm trying to do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
Because I actually do want to. I know there's people in my area, man, that want to know more about MS, bro. And I don't want to. I always direct them towards you, but I'm saying I don't want them to see a video. I want them to know straight up. Hey, go with the homie Swag. He's the one that's gonna give you the best when it comes to this group, homie. I'm just gonna be and just because he affiliated, he's gonna be non-biased, homie. And that's the only thing that I look for people, man, that they're not like biased and that they don't try to throw a certain narrative, homie. Because there's
nah,
people that are like that way. They throw a certain thing and they're like,
yeah,
okay, I'm gonna
I
get that
noticed
fan
that.
base that hates them so that I'm good over here. Nah, chalice, homie. Just
Nah,
keep it real. Don't like to kick it. And like you say, hey, gracias, like I said, brother, gracias for having me. I know the gente's gonna be like, man, it's a little bit different, but I think this was good, homie. I think it's more normal than just asking questions. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? The whole
it
little
was
bit,
having a conversation with somebody,
Simon.
trying to learn for somebody, and I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Because I always like to learn, and I always would like to learn about other things. Like I always look forward to trying to spend my knowledge
Yeah,
about other things. I always have questions about how sometimes, because I will see how the Northerners will move, the militant movements that they will do, and I always sometimes have questions regarding their moves, or sometimes have questions regarding other movements.
Simon.
Maybe you can answer them for me, and then maybe we
Gotcha.
can open up a platform of questions, and then people can let us know if they have any questions they wanna
Yeah,
us to ask or,
yeah.
any doubts. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know. Thank
Simon.
you for sharing the time with me. And I'll drop this today. And then
Well,
tomorrow
that's
we can
fine.
do the next one and go from there, brother.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for having me. Like always, hey, to anyone that sees the video, man, make sure to share, hit that like, hit all that good stuff, man, for the homie. If you don't know who your boy Conejo is, man, make sure to check me out on Conejo's profiles or EBK. You already be knowing, man. Gracias, brother. I'll see you tomorrow then. Thank you for having me on, brother. And hopefully, people can get some things cleared up, bro. Because I
Yes,
know
sir.
I see videos and I'm just like, man, pinches vatos, me pasan de verga. But thank you, brother. I
Thank you,
appreciate
brother, for
you.
having me. Thank you for taking the time out of the day. People already know. If you haven't checked out the homie, check him out on EBK Family or Conejo Profile. If you already haven't checked out mine, check out Swag Junior. We're here to identify you. You guys already know. Let's get it, man.
All right. Ya sabes, man.